open. You don't wash your face, you wanna be your face. Mouth open. Open your mouth, open your mouth. Every day there's something to say, something to say. Daybreak, open your mouth, open your mouth. Every day there's something to say, something to say. Today I'm something to talk about. Today something to talk about. Today something to talk about. Today something to talk about.
Welcome, 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 welcome to Focus on Liberia. This is our exclusive interview. Welcome, welcome. We want to say welcome. We'll continue to play the music, Daybreak. And welcome to Focus on Liberia. Today is an exclusive interview with artist Jodi Clarke, and I pass it on to my co-host, Danielle. Danielle, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thanks, Dennis. As Dennis said, that was Daybreak by our special guest today, Jodi Clarke. Welcome to all our viewers. Thank you for joining us. As Dennis said, my name is Danielle, and I'm the co-host here at Focus on Liberia. You can follow us on YouTube at Focus on Liberia. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can also follow us here on Facebook at Focus on Liberia. So please hit the like and follow button. Okay. And so today our special guest is Liberian superstar singer Jodi Clarke. And I'd like to say welcome, Jodi, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Great. So let's jump right into it. This is Focus on Liberia. So please let our viewers know what your connection to Liberia is.
Well, my for everybody tuning in, thanks for tuning into the show. My name is Jodi Clarke. I was born in Grand Bassa County, Liberia. I left Liberia at a very young age, 91, and moved to the Ivory Coast. So for the most part, I grew up in the Ivory Coast in the U.S. I haven't been to Liberia since then, but I'm looking forward to going there hopefully this year. I've attempted a few times, and we've had some issues trying to get things together, but hopefully this year we can get everything on track and hope to do an event in Liberia soon.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you, Jodi, and I want to say welcome to Focus on Liberia. We are grateful.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we are grateful to have you, and we appreciate Ms. Marianne Roberts, who made the connection so that you can be on the show today. We're very, very much appreciative of her and also you accepting to be on. We want to welcome our viewers from across the globe. We invite you to please share the show and be a part of it. Pretty soon, in the middle of the broadcast, we're going to be opening our phone lines and posting on Facebook so that you can be a part of the discussion. Back to you, Danielle.
Thanks, Dennis. Okay, so Jodi, where did your love of music begin?
I started music at a very young age in the Ivory Coast. Wasn't a lot to do, so music was one of those things that if you're not either playing soccer or out there doing something stupid, you would turn to something that you have passion for. And my mother sings, so because of that, I guess it kind of runs in the family. So I was able to get into music, and I grew up around Ivorian music. First started with the gospel church and stuff like that, and then I took a love into Ivorian music. And why in the process of that, started listening to a lot of R&B music. So at a very young age, I started doing music, and when I came to the U.S., I put a lot of time into it, and since then I've been doing it.
Okay, great. And so, you mentioned being, I guess, in Ivory Coast where they have their own sound, and then also being influenced by R&B music. And so when we listen to your music, we can hear the range of those influences, the R&B, the Afro pop, the Francophone African sound. So can you characterize your sound for us and tell us what genre you're in?
Well, I consider the type of music I do Afro R&B fusion.
Mhm.
So the Afro is kind of a mixture of the Ivorian music, and if you listen to a lot of African music nowadays, most of them are borrowed from Ivorian music. The Nigerian music, if you listen to a lot of it, their dances and everything, a lot of those comes from Ivorian music because Ivorian people, they're mostly into dance music, and so a lot of those comes from that. So as far as the African end of the music I do, that's where I developed that from. And then with my sound being, meaning that I started out doing R&B music and then kind of mixing the both. That's why I called it the Afro R&B fusion.
Nice. So you've created your own lane, you've created your own genre for yourself.
Kind of, I created something that not a lot of artists is doing it. And what that means is if you listen to a lot of African, a lot of the top African artists like the Davidos and techno, and most of these guys, even though they're doing Afro pop, they're mainly doing it to where a lot of the African fan base understand it 100%, and then Americans are buying onto it, but the language barrier is still there. So I'm doing similar thing that they're doing, but the English is a little clearer than what they're doing. So it kind of makes it makes it a lot easier for them to understand it. Because if you notice nowadays, even most of the American artists are now doing Afro music. So instead of them taking our music and running with it, but doing it the American way.
Seems we have a connection issue there with Jody, so we'll give him a minute to come back. Um, for those of you just joining, we do have Jodi Clarke here with us, and I think the connection has been resolved. So you were saying?
I was saying what makes it a little different from a lot of the other artists, from a lot of the other African artists, is the fact that when you listen to my music, you're getting that clarity. You're able to understand everything I'm saying. It don't mean every now and then I won't throw in a little bit of my dialect in it, but I try to do music for everybody, not just for Africans or just for Liberians. I want to make the kind of music that everybody can vibe to, that everybody can understand.
Yeah, but Jody, isn't that? I mean, if you have big artists like the video doing something, and then you trying to chant a new course, will you find that challenging? I mean, and I like the fact that you're going, a little away from what everybody else is doing. But isn't
Is
that going to be a challenge for you to get out there more?
it is a challenge, but one thing we got to understand is if you have 20, if you have, let's say you have, and that's one of the problems Liberian artists are having in terms of being able to get big in Africa alone, not just Liberian people, because one of the problems we have when we put out a Liberian song, if a Liberian artist come out with a song, that song only plays in the Liberian community,
Yeah.
meaning Liberian people only. 99% of the time, it's just Liberians, because it's not penetrating other African countries. It dies down after we've listened to it, we've danced to it. So if Davido and 10 other Nigerian artists are doing the same thing and they're known for that, and I'm a Liberian artist and I come on and start doing the same thing that they're doing, I'm just in line with them. There's no identity. Nobody recognizes me as a Liberian because I'm sounding like them. I'm doing exactly the same thing. And we've tested that before, and that was definitely the problem coming up because a lot of other Africans started thinking that I was Nigerian because of a song I did with Brockhead and a couple of other songs. So by you sounding different, you kind of stand out amongst all the 10 artists. So if they play 10 Nigerian artists in a row and they play Jodi Clarke, it's gonna sound different from the 10 artists that just played. So it stands out.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right. He'll be back in a second. We are interviewing
Got it.
international Liberian artist Jodi Clarke, and we're back. Okay. And so, I mean, we've talked about your sound. So, what inspires your music, and what do you hope is communicated or felt in your music?
In most of my music, I talk about I talk about love a lot, and I talk about just life changing events. Um, I grew up around a lot of musicians that are that play for big name artists, old school artists like the Commodores, Lionel Richie, and so when I started learning how to write music, I um I listened to a lot of love music. I believe in people coming together for the right reasons, people being able to understand each other instead of being divided. And I felt like our country, we always use that excuse that, oh, it's the war, it's the war. There's a lot of my peers that never experienced the war, but they're blaming the war for them being so divided. Some of these people didn't even grow up when the war was going on, but still blame the war when something happened amongst Liberians. Oh, it's the war, it's affected Liberians, oh, it's the war. You can't really blame it if you never really went through that. And even if you went through that, at one point we all got to be able to forget those things to try to rebuild ourselves in a way that we can all coexist and work together. So I try to create a type of music that will put people in a happy mood, that put people in a loving and caring mood, because it's very important.
Okay. So, Jodi Clarke is a lover, not a fighter.
Oh no, not a fighter, not at all. Not at all.
So something you just mentioned about when you write your music, it tells me that you write your own music.
I write every song you've heard. I've written every song with the exception of one song that I co-wrote with a Nigerian producer, and it's the French song that you guys were playing earlier. That song, he he did the music and then did a melody for the hook and sent it to me and said, the melody, everything's in English. Can you put that song in French and see if it will work? And I was able to write everything else and put it in French. So that's the only song that I've had anybody help on. But every other song from Baby I Do to every song you hear, I've written everything.
Well, and you sang in French. I was wondering. You told us you live in Africa, so it's like you
Yeah,
speak French too.
I grew up in Africa, so I speak French fluently. My friend that I grew up with is like my brother. He lives in Paris, so I'm always in. If I'm not in the U.S., I'm in Paris, so we communicate on a regular. So that kind of helped me a whole lot to speak it fluently.
Awesome. And
Don't,
you.
don't let me challenge you now.
And you mentioned it earlier that you had a collaboration with the Nigerian duo Bracket. So how did that come about?
Right.
How did the collaboration happen?
I did a show. I did a show in Dallas, Texas that Bracket was headlining. And when the promoter approached me, and I said, I don't mind coming to do the show, but I want to work with Bracket. And he talked to my manager, and they said it was cool. So I went to Dallas to do the show. After I did the show, I came backstage and Vaz, which is the Dagger skiing in the group member, he kind of took a liking to what I did. And the first question he asked is, "Oh, were you singing? Is that you? Is that your voice?" So I said, "Yeah." And we kind of connected. So we talked about working on the song that night, and we all went out and partied the next day. We got in the studio and we did a song. And that song got very big in the Ivory Coast and amongst a lot of francophone country. It started playing on TV without me even knowing. So because I lived in the U.S. I went on tour to Australia, did a 3-city tour, and I still didn't know that the song was so big in the Ivory Coast. And then I decided to do a song with an Ivorian artist named Serge Benoit. He's one of the biggest artists there right now. So when I went to Ivory Coast to do this do the song with him, they took me to the TV station first. I went to the TV station, and one of the directors at the TV station is standing there looking at me. He said, "I know you." I said, "Yeah, I got a song, and I heard that you guys been playing my song on TV. You've been playing the video." He said, "Yeah, you're the other Nigerian guy from Bracket." That's exactly what he said. So I said, "Oh no, I'm not. I'm not Nigerian. I'm Liberian. I'm the one featuring Bracket. They're not featuring me." And so they had to fix that. And then I went to the radio station, the biggest radio station there, and it was the same thing because Bracket had already went to Ivory Coast and did a concert and performed the song and everything, but it didn't say anything about the artists that they were featuring. I mean, the artists that featured them on the song, but they performed the song, but they didn't say anything. I mean, it was a good experience doing the song with them, and it opened a lot of doors for me.
Awesome. And so, as much as music is an art and it is your passion, it is also a business. So
Absolutely.
what are you and your team doing to make sure that your songs are reaching people far and near?
So we one of the problems that I had in the past was being in a contract that wasn't, when you're an artist at times, because you're so hungry to get on, when a contract comes your way, you don't really take the time to get the right people to look at that contract. You get excited and you sign it. And so that's one of the problems that I've always had, being able to actually get out of that contract. So that held a lot of things back. But once I got out of the contract, now I got a new team, and we're rebranding everything, and hopefully 2000 and really push a lot of things and get have it. So it's gonna go to different.
Okay.
Jodi, there was some hiccup there when you were saying it, so we didn't get the last words you said. If you can repeat those.
I was saying now I got a new team, new management team, and there's a lot of different things that they're putting in place now. So the music will be able to reach everybody across Africa. One of the problems that we've been having with Liberia is I've had 3 videos that plays on Trace Africa that plays a lot, but not a lot of people in Liberia have access to Trace Africa. The only way you can watch those stations is if you have a satellite. If you don't have a satellite, you just watch the local stations that you have in Monrovia. And since we don't have any presence on the ground in Liberia, the videos are not playing on the local stations in Liberia. So put them on there. That's a whole nother thing. We can kind of visit that, visit that topic. But so that made a lot of Liberians in Liberia not to know the name. But even though the video plays in the Ivory Coast, Ivorians are knowing it, Liberians don't really know because they don't really get to watch it. So we're trying to get all of that fixed now.
Okay, and so you even jumped me there on, I guess, Liberia in general. What is the plan to make sure that your music is heard in Liberia? So, in Liberia, as you said, everyone doesn't have satellite television, but everyone is hooked to the radio. So,
right.
Does your team have a plan to make sure that you're heard on the radio and not just in, Monrovia and Montserrat, but across all the counties in Liberia?
We've been building a team in Liberia, and which is what we never had. So each time that we reach out to, let's say we reach out to a radio station, or we reach out to a DJ, they'll say, "Oh, we want $50 or $100." So there's a DJ down. If you put about 10, 20 DJs together, you're sending everybody $100, $200 per person. Of course, before you know it, you're gonna spend over $3,000-4,000. Now, give me 1 second.
And for our viewers, if you're just joining, we have Liberian international singer Jodi Clarke. Today we have an exclusive interview with him. He is in the process of rebranding and pushing his career forward in 2020. So thank you for joining us. And back to you, Jodi, you're explaining.
Yeah, so if you look at the Liberian music industry is struggling, where most of the artists, even a lot of the big artists, they don't really get money from that market. So if you go to Liberia to promote, I would think the radios, the DJs will be trying to break their own Liberian artists to make sure that those artists get on a bigger platform. Because if those artists get on a bigger platform, that means that's money that's coming into the country. It means the market starts to grow. It means DJs start to get more money from those artists, but those artists are not making money to be able to give you something good. But from the jump, if the artist is struggling and then you, the DJ, telling them, say, if you don't do this, I'll play it. But you play Nigerian music all day, you play American music all day. You've never met any of these people. Those music get played for free. You don't have no problem with it. So now a Liberian artist come on and you tell him, oh, if you don't pay me, I can't play, even though the song is good. And those are some of the problems that we've been having. So we decided to get a team in Liberia that can actually connect with the people in Liberia, connect with those DJs, and implement and kind of put in work to make sure that the music is known before July, before we can actually get there.
Okay.
So Jodi, I can relate to that. So let me share my own experience, because we at Focus on Liberia, we play, sometimes we do history of Liberia, history about the ethnic group. But before a radio station or TV station play that in Liberia, they want you to pay them, right? So sometimes I ask them, we grew up listening to BBC 24/7. I say, I wonder how much BBC is paying this radio station to play this. So you are exactly correct. You play French news, VOA, BBC, Radio Deutsche Welle without asking for a penny. But to play your own Liberian history, you want money before you do that. So it's kind of, it's a challenge. But as you said, what specifically are you doing to break that?
Well, one of the things is to be able to get people who kind of know each other on the ground. Because if you're here, whenever my team calls, or let's say one of my boys called and say, oh, we got a new song from Jodi. If these guys hear Jodi, and most of these DJs are online, they're on the internet, so they see that we're doing a lot of things either in the Ivory Coast, or I'm doing a show in Paris, or doing shows with a lot of other artists from other countries. They'll automatically assume that, okay, because you're doing song with these artists, that means you got a whole lot of money. So if you got all this money to do all of these things in all these different countries, then you should be able to give us this amount of money. In sense, it makes sense at one part of it, but you also got to understand the reason I do all these things is to make sure that a Liberian artist cross over into other countries. Yeah. So every work and every effort I'm putting in is to make sure that the music crosses over into other countries. And when we explain it to these guys, it's like, the whole America thing comes in first. So when you're in America, that one part, just forget it. You're in America, the money in America, so they don't care. So everything else that you're actually explaining, it kind of goes to one side and it come out of one side. At the end of the day, it's all about the money for them to play the music. And if you're not on the ground, they'll probably, if you don't have a DJ that's consistent, they will get that money from you, play the song one or two times, and then they leave it alone. You got to play a little longer than that to break a song. And that's what they do for a lot of artists in Liberia. So it at times seems like it's a competition, like these artists back home got competition with the artists. For me, if one Liberian artist makes it on a bigger platform, I'm excited, because that means it opens the door for a lot of people. But in order to make that happen, you got to be fair. You got to work with every artist to make sure that that one of these days, one of those artists breaks through.
Yeah. And I guess I found it interesting because here in the US, a radio station basically has to pay to play an artist's music. For every spin, or for every 10 or 100 spins of a song on a radio station, the artist gets paid. So it's interesting that for us, in Liberia, it's the artist has to pay for their music to get played. But
the other way around. but it's similar in the Ivory Coast as well. So when I got to the Ivory Coast and I went to the radio station, they told me that the royalties for number one was paid to Bracket. And then when I got back when I got to the TV station, which is Trace Africa, they also told me, oh, the royalties for playing the video on TV got paid a bracket because we didn't know who you were. We thought is bracket was featuring you on number one.
Wow. Wow.
And Danielle, let me explain to you also that in Liberia, in America, Santa give gifts. In Liberia, we give gifts.
So I went in the house.
Oh, sorry, Jodi. It seems like your connection froze again. What were you saying?
I was saying that when I went to the Ivory Coast, the TV station and the radio station, those they actually pay you royalties, but the royalties were paid a bracket simply because they didn't know who I was. So I was able to establish everything. I did the paperwork, register my music in the Ivory Coast, and got all the documents. So any royalties that come from number one now goes to the right company, the right publishing company, and then our publishing company designate what bracket get and what Jodi get, instead of bracket getting every money and we're not hearing anything about it.
Okay. Wow. Well, so they have a system in the Ivory Coast. Liberia needs to catch up or will catch up.
Oh yeah. And when you when we try to put a song on Trace called a video called Begio,
yes.
Trace came back and said the song was not big in Africa. The song had to be big in Africa in order for them to screen the video, right? So I told him, said the video is playing. I mean, the song is playing in Liberia, which the song was. It was playing DJ Blue. Shout out to DJ Blue. He premiered the song. He even had a contest where people could call in, and he said, "What's the meaning of Bedio?" And if you say it, "What's the meaning of Bedio?" in Basa, you say, you say what it means, and you get a scratch card or you get $10. So that ran for like a good 2 hours. So the song was playing, and I told the
Sorry, there. A connection
and
issue.
said, well, there is no game from like music.
Let's just give his connection a moment.
Are we still?
We hustle to make it. We hustle to get by. We hustle to make it. We hustle to get by. Mama, woke up this morning with no food on my table. I don't get up, but I will get me some. Let's start with it, promise to moment. You think you get tomorrow, you're gone. Every day I'm doing is hustle, hustle. Every day I'm doing is hustle, hustle. We hustle to make it. We hustle to get by. We hustle to make it. So that we hustle to get by. Nothing can hold a hustle down. Nothing can hold a hustle down. When it rains, hustle. When it's snow, hustle. When it's good, hustle. When it's bad, hustle.
Please give us a moment while we figure out connectivity issues. But right now,
I think I'm back on, right? You see me?
yes.
Okay.
All right, that was the song "Hustle" by Jodi Clarke. We're having some technical problems on the side of Jodi, so we go back to Jodi.
All right. So I think we're actually talking about Liberia and the TV station recognizing whether the song was big in Liberia.
Right.
The problem. So when I told them that the song was playing in Liberia, which it actually was, what I was advised is Liberia does not have sound scan. So it's not a way that they can see how many times the song is playing in Liberia. In the US, they have a sound scan. Ivory Coast have the same thing, and they will see if your song is kind of charting, if your song is on a playlist, if your song is the top 10. They see all of that. They see how many times it plays. So there's a lot of people in Liberia that say they're music ambassador or they're music the industry of the Ministry of Art that deal with all these things, but those are some of the things that has to be implemented in order for the music to actually advance. Because if that don't happen, other countries don't know what artist is big, how many times your music played. They don't know it. So most of the artists have to leave to go to Nigeria and go try to hustle to put their music on Nigerian radio or try to go to other countries in order for people outside of that to recognize it. And it makes it kind of difficult for the artists. So
Yeah.
we have people who's been minister of whatever entertainment for forever. If you ask them what they do, I can't really explain what they do.
Mm. Yeah. Well, that's definitely something Liberia needs to work on because it starts, it's all about the systems in place. Whether we have copywriting laws that are in place and whether they're enforced, whether the way radio stations are set up is, has a system or is properly enforced, that's another story, but something that needs to be fixed. So
Right,
that way our artists can get to the next level and don't always have to be struggling. Yeah, but
right.
definitely something we need to work on. And in keeping with talking about Liberia, I see you also have a collaboration with the popular Liberian duo PCK and El Frankie. And for those of you who don't know PCK and El Frankie, they have the popular song "We Hear," "Tell Your Mom Say I Hear." So how did that collaboration come about? How did you guys link up?
Well, I'm one of those people that I've been doing music for a while. So if I see like newer artists or younger people, coming around and doing music, if it's good, I'm gonna appreciate it. I might send you a message and say, "Yo, you're doing something good. It's dope." So I think we kind of linked up on IG where he sent me a message, and I responded and followed him and told him, said, "Man, I like you guys' music. We can do something." He said, "Oh, no problem at all. Let's do something." A year later, because I completely forgot about it, so then a year later, we're talking to you and say, "Oh, you still didn't send me something for us to work on." I said, "I'm gonna send you something," and then I was able to find a song, send it to him, and he liked the song, and he got on it. My label mate, Baby I, got on the song, and it was a dope song. To promote it in Liberia again, that one the problem is, and so we never really pushed it because, like I said, if you're not in Liberia, it's like you get treated a little differently. And I don't want to do a song with a Liberian artist just for a Liberian artist and say, "Oh, Jodi feature me," or you know what I mean, we're on the same song. If I did a song, I'm not in Liberia and you're there,
Mhm.
you can make an attempt to push the song because my music is played in other markets as well. And what that means is, and I'll just go ahead, and I'm not saying it to say anything negative about anybody, but a lot of artists that we reach out to or that reach out to me and we want to work together, they will come at you. If it's a Liberian artist, they will come at you and say, "Oh, I want $2,000. I want $3,000." They don't think about the long run of what you're
Right.
doing right now. And what that means is, if my music is playing in the Ivory Coast and I did a song with you, of course, if that song is big, it gets played in the Ivory Coast. What that means is other people start to know about your music. Now, if you're big in Liberia, they're gonna definitely follow you.
Mhm.
And a lot of them, they don't understand it till I did a show in Paris. I did a big show in Paris. I was covered by Trace Africa, and I did the show with Serge Benoit. And when once they saw it, then I seen Liberian artists trying to reach out to me. "Oh, big brother, let do something. You're doing your thing, or you're traveling. But when we're trying to work with you guys, you don't want to do it unless you see me doing something. Then you want to come around for what can benefit you." And at that point, I just turned my back on everybody and say, "You know what? I'll just do what I'm actually doing."
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
these
I
are
definitely.
real major issues and problems. And those of us who are not in the music
Dennis,
industry,
you're low, Dennis.
oh, go ahead, Daniel. I don't know why. Okay, is that better?
Yes,
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Okay. No, I said for those of us who are not close or in the music industry, we don't know all these things. How, we have the Liberian Music or Artists Association, we have all these groups. How are you trying to work with others to kind of solve this problem, especially the first one you said about the charting? These
Right.
are issues that need to be presented to those concerned. What is the work being done there, and how do we break these kind of barriers?
Well, the first thing is trying to reach these people. That is the first thing. If you can't reach them, you can't really discuss, you can't really implement a lot of these things. See,
Mm.
growing up in Ivory Coast, I saw how they promote music and how they push up and coming artists, the big artists that are already big, and how they really push the music from that country for people to recognize who those artists are, for people to love their own music. There's a lot of different programs that goes on during the summer in the Ivory Coast that keep the kids busy, that make them know who those artists are, that have big concerts. And those concerts, they're all Ivorian artists. Those are things that these organizations can actually push, that they can get a budget for, if if it's there. But you don't see any of those happening in Liberia. The only time I see anything major going on in Liberia is when they bring an artist from outside Liberia.
Yeah.
But if it's just artists in Liberia, you will look at it and know straight that it's a local event. You don't see a lot of you don't see a lot of sponsors. But when there's a big name artist coming to Liberia, then you see the Coca-Cola and the MTN and all these different people. You can do those same things for the artists there and the artists that are not in Liberia. You can invite those artists to come and have a big Liberian festival every year that is just Liberian artists. That helps the music grow. It helps. Now once you're doing that and that event is so big, then you start inviting people like MTV based Trace Africa is right next door. When I said next door, it's in the Ivory Coast. So you can invite the camera crew to come and cover the event. Now you have all these other countries looking at Liberian artists as prospects. Now you can see them nominating those artists for other awards, but they don't really do that. They don't think about those things. The same thing comes to the Liberian Entertainment Awards that they do in the US. The Liberian Entertainment Award is done every year, but if you ask me what it does for Liberian artists, I have no clue. And maybe we can ask the people who do the show, what exactly do they do for the Liberian artists? What's done other than doing the award show and people dressing up and taking pictures? I don't see anything.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are having an exclusive interview with international superstar Jodi Clarke. And if you want to be a part of the discussion, please call our phone lines 605-313-6004, the code 791403.
And so, Jodi, what about artists that are here in the diaspora with you? Are there plans to collaborate with artists?
Yes, I got a song that's going to be coming out real soon with Snoti. Snoti is a dope Liberian vocalist, Liberian female artist. She lives in Minnesota and she's put out a lot of good music. She featured me on one of her songs that was pretty big. And I also on that song I have two female artists on the Snoti, and the other one I'm not going to announce yet. I'm going to say her name later, but I have that in works. That's actually coming out. I have a new song that's going to be dropping on Valentine's Day, and hopefully we'll get to drop a video soon, depending on if it's done before Friday.
Awesome. Look forward to that. So can we expect tours from you this year?
This year definitely. I'm planning a summer tour. Serge Bidno is going to be on tour, so hopefully I'm going to be on the tour. We got another song that we actually worked on. It's going to be in Canada, and we're trying to work everything out down. So there's a couple of places that it's going that most likely I'm going to appear as a guest appearing on a couple of those shows. For Liberia, we're hoping if things go as planned, I can be in Liberia in July. If not, then it's going to be the first and second week of December this year.
Okay. Wonderful. So we know you've won quite a bit of awards. Can you please tell our audience what are some of those awards that you've
won? Well, I've been to the Liberian Entertainment Awards one time. I think I've won over 5 of those awards. Best artist, song of the year, video of the year, so on and so on. I got an award from Australia, the Australian Entertainment Liberian Entertainment Award in Australia, and a couple of recognition from other places also. And my goal was to really, I always want to perform and do a great show at the Liberian Entertainment Awards, but the organizers and my team always just don't work out. So I've never been back there since the one time I went there. I've never performed there.
Well, I'm hoping that everything in the universe can come together perfectly so that way
Right.
you guys can collaborate in
Right,
the
right.
future. So I mean, so you've won Liberian Entertainment Awards here and in Australia. So which awards do you still hope to be nominated for and when?
Well, my goal is to with this new team that we got to be able to get the music on the right platforms that can get us to the MTV Base Awards, which is MTV Africa. Trace should be planning the award show as well. So we look at all those different things and hoping because once you penetrated Africa and you're a big name in Africa, then BET recognize you as an international artist. So then that way, if the music is to the point where BET recognize you, then you get nominated for the BET Awards. I personally feel like with the type of music I do, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, I feel like it can get recognized for a Grammy, and hopefully one of these days win a Grammy. So definitely praying and hoping that that happens.
Absolutely. No dream is too big. What's the point of dreaming if you're gonna dream
Right,
small,
right, 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 right.
right?
And my motto to everyone that no matter what you do in life, the worst failure you can ever face is quitting. Because if you quit, you never know if you could have made it. So no matter what you do, be it you're trying to start a business, your goal is to be a huge artist or writer or doctor or whatever. If you quit, you never know if you would have made it. So never quit and keep trying.
I like that. But what do you see as the biggest hurdle that will make Liberian artists to quit?
Uh, Finances is a very big thing. The moral, the support. If you see Nigerian artists, most of them they got investors. Those investors, 99% of the time, they're Nigerians who got money, who invest into those artists. Most of the labels are owned by Nigerians. They're putting up the money. Liberians don't. Liberians who got money don't really believe in that. Not a lot of them, but the ones that they feel like, especially the ones that got money in Liberia, feel like that go down beginning and do the music thing. So why should I put my money behind it? And not just that, but if you're a businessman and you put your money into something that's not bringing back revenue, it makes it weak for you to want to do it. So it's not just to blame on people who got money and don't want to invest. The market is not really purchasing the music or not really supporting those artists to the point where you can get some type of revenue back. And so that creates a problem. So it's a thing that we got to work on. Is this something that is going to get resolved overnight? No, it's going to take a while, and it may not be with my generation, it may not be with the next, but a Liberian artist is going to pop based on you putting the right marketing behind them. A good music video is not $1,000; it's more than that. So imagine you shoot the video, then you go to the radio stations. Now in Africa, if you pay, you play a whole lot. So you pay. Then you go to the TV stations. Most of the MTV is controlled by Nigerians a lot. No disrespect to my brothers, but you ain't Nigerian, so you got to grease some out of palm for them to play it. Um, Trace Africa, I tell any Liberian artist sing your music with Trace Africa, if they love your video, they will play it. They don't ask you for a penny. Every video I've played on there, they never ask for a cent, and they always play them. But it's got to be good. But just breaking through, it takes a lot for you to break through. In America, it takes over 500,000 to break a new artist.
Mm.
That's $500 million. So you imagine with the African music, it's not that much, but you still got to put money behind the artist.
And so whoever's investing in Liberian music or entertainment should just know that they need to be in it for the long haul and not that they'll necessarily get returns quickly.
Immediately, no, no. And here's a good example of an artist that when his song first came out, I thought he he had the potential to break through. Dench. Dench did the he did a song that was pretty big, and
Came out.
Liberians loved it, right? But and it would play on BBC. But the problem is there was not a push behind the song to get it to where it needed to be. They didn't have an actual video for the song to really push it. Now, how you done a video and pitch it to MTV Base, pitch it to this other thing, and have it start playing in other countries? The beat alone got people dancing. So once with African music, once the melody gets you dancing, they don't care about what you're saying most of the time. But if they catch on to what you're saying, then the song goes big. They just had to put a lot of push behind that one song and push it, but that never happened, so the song died down. So even if you went and did a feature with another artist, if that feature was not better than that song, all your energy should have been on that song instead of trying to do a feature to get you solidified in that market. Just you being by yourself can make you big, but that never happened. There were no videos, and that was it.
Wow.
That's true. Even for authors, you write one book, and then writing it is one thing, but marketing it is the real deal. So if you don't do that, getting to other books doesn't help.
Right.
So marketing is something that that we need to work on in Liberia or within our community.
It's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest hurdle that the music industry have. Cause think about it. If you put out Liberian music and the music it penetrates and it goes to Sierra Leone, and it goes to Guinea, and it goes to Ivory Coast. The moment it goes to Ivory Coast and you get knowing Ivory Coast, that means it's going to Senegal, it's going to Togo. It pretty much spreads over to all the francophone countries. But the music only stays in Liberia, amongst Liberians. If you see somebody playing that song in Australia, that's a Liberian. They're playing it in Norway or wherever, there's a Liberian event or it's a Liberian DJ. But if it crosses over to other African DJs and they start playing it, then that becomes something big. And I've had an opportunity to have some of my songs play in other countries, but we didn't have the marketing to push it. Swaggeristic, that's a song that I did years ago. And it got big in, I believe it was Zimbabwe or Zambia, but they thought it was a Nigerian artist singing the song. and one time in Texas, a promoter was looking for a Liberian artist to book for, I think it was like a July 26th event. And he was from that country. So there's a Liberian girl that worked there. He said, "Oh, what's a big Liberian artist that I can book?" The girl said, "Jodi." He said, "Who's that?" She said, you guys, the Kenyan people dance to his song here every night. You don't know who he is." So he said, "What song is this swaggeristic?" The dude said, "Oh, no, that's a Nigerian artist." The girl said, "No, he's Liberian. You've never seen the video." So I got booked and went and did a show. But the marketing was not there. We didn't know a lot. We didn't have the funds to really push it.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah, let me bring in a caller here. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Anthony C.A. and I call from Minnesota.
Mr. C.A., welcome to Focus on Liberia. Question or comment?
I thank you, Mr. Ja. I have a comment first.
Sure.
And then maybe I will come with subsequent questions. Yeah, I just want to applaud my man Jodi there. Jodi is one of the renowned artists from Liberia. Just the other day I was driving and I had one of his songs playing while I was driving on Facebook, and I tagged him in it on his Facebook day, and I think he posted it on his Facebook day as well. And I like all his songs. Even when I was in Liberia, at the time I was in Sino County, the first song I listened about Jodi at the time was Baby I Do on Army Radio. And since then, when I came to the U.S., I've been following Jodi. But he's one of the good, and he's one of the renowned out there, and I can say that for free. But again, I want Jodi to do more collaboration with other artists in Liberia. He talked about doing a song with PCK and L. Frankie. You know, I saw the advertisement of that song on Facebook, even though I didn't have the time to listen to it, and I'm not really sure if it's on Facebook or let me say YouTube. And I think you need to go, get around other artists in Liberia, and make sure that his songs are promoted on other Liberian radio platforms. um, so that other people can get to listen to him. I mean, when we listen to the song that was played on Army Radio by Patrick O'Kine and Chris Wallow at the time, we we were so proud to hear, a Liberian artist who was based in the U.S., doing a very good songs. But then when I came to the U.S., I I see that the kind of momentum that we got from the song when we were in when I was in Liberia, I didn't kind of feel that same momentum here in the U.S. So I don't know what is going on between when it comes to his promotion team, when it comes to making the songs to go worldwide, so that everybody, even here, I go to the clubs. I mean, he got some good club banger songs. Like sometimes I go to the club, I go to parties. I don't hear people playing the song. And since he's based in the U.S., I think he need to get around some of the U.S.-based DJs so that they can play his songs at parties, and weddings and all that stuff. I think if it is making a big wave here in the U.S., and I think other people in other parts of the world and Liberia, will try to see how best they can also promote his songs. So I hope he will. Yeah, so I hope that future songs that he would make, he will also get in contact with other DJs here in the U.S., so they can promote his songs. Even myself here, I also have passion. I also had a passion for music, but sometimes, if you make a fair move and nothing is coming out of it, and then you get frustrated. And I also like his energy. He's been consistent, and he's been making a lot of good songs. So I don't know what he's gonna do so that he can get more support here in the U.S. first, among the U.S. based Liberian DJs before he can probably move over to other countries.
Thank you. And you say your name again?
Anthony C.
Thank you. Jodi?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Jodi, any response to the caller?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to, I appreciate the support.
All participants are muted and they can unmute themselves.
I appreciate the support, and I always appreciate the feedback in terms of because I'm not out there. I don't really see a lot. So people who are out there, they can always tell us. We normally send the music to DJs, but what I realize is at times when DJs get a certain song, they kind of feel like the song don't fit in with other playlists that they have, so they don't play it. The reason why I really don't know. Some DJs play it because I've been here where people would text me, my boys would text me and say, "Oh, I was at this party in this other city and they played this song or play that song." Baby, I do get play at a lot of weddings. Like Liberians have weddings and they play all day. Some of them don't even know the artist's name, but they know the song. So we're as I stated, I have a new team and they're working on a lot of other things. So hopefully that will change. So I definitely appreciate the feedback.
Thank you.
And so earlier we talked about, dreaming big and your goals for other awards. Tell us, what does a successful music career look like for you? What are you aspiring to?
Repeat that. I'm sorry. I think I heard a guitar sound. So.
Oh, sorry. What
okay.
does a successful music career look like to you? What are you aspiring to?
Well, being successful is being able to be on a major platform that people can recognize you, not just in. I mean, you can be in a niche market and work that market to the point where you're well known, but once you start getting on those big platforms where you start getting recognized by the MTVs and the major awards and stuff like that, that means that your music is getting somewhere that is being appreciated. And if you're on major streaming platforms like Apple Music and stuff like that, every time you go on there, you see that music climbing the chart, even though you don't see it physically where you're seeing everybody doing this, but when you go, you see the numbers. what we try to do is monitor when we put out a song. We try to monitor where that song gets played the most, and it's so good that Apple Music will tell you if the song is getting played in East Africa, what country, how many people listen, how many people download it. So you get to see the progress, and things has been changing, and we're trying to kind of rebrand everything. So hopefully one day we can get to the platform where we will be able to showcase that music to the American audience and the European audience, and everybody can like it and can say, oh, that's God is from Liberia. He makes good music. Not just say, oh, he's make Liberian music, but he makes good music for everybody. He's a Liberian artist.
Okay. We have some comments on Facebook. Let me read a few of them. Miata Dakina say, Jodi Clarke, please put your own, say it's okay to blow your own horn, because if you don't do it, who's going to do it for you? America said, you know, the only way for when you make sex videos, then you get popular. I think she's being the sarcastic there and saying, hey, people don't listen to them until you do something crazy.
I mean, and I see that a lot. And I was telling one of my friends, I said, I see a lot of Liberians online, and they have all these shows online and stuff like that, and interview people. But I see a Liberian guy. I don't know his name. I'm not going to say his name, but one time I saw him on Facebook, and I mean, he had almost 1,000 people watching, but he was cussing. He was cussing another Liberian person that do the blogging thing. And then I would see somebody that doing something good and something positive. We're here talking about something positive, promoting something positive, and you don't see 600 people watching. No. But I dare you right now, if I came out here and started cussing somebody, you see a whole bunch of people watching. So we promote negativity more in our community than we promote anything positive. And and it's kind of it's sad, but that's the society we live in. And so so people, and what Miata is saying is true. People don't notice until either something happens to you. When they say the person dropped dead or everybody says, "Oh my God, you're a legend," but they didn't know that you existed. And it's sad. That's Liberian. That's just the Liberian community and Liberian as a whole. They don't support the artist when the artist is dead. They don't say much about you. But as soon as you die, now you become a legend. Now you become the best. Now you become everything. It's sad, but that's just being honest.
Kibla Woodson say, congratulations to you and Snotty on the new track.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it. It's coming out real soon. It's a really dope song. It's coming out soon.
Kibla also say, I get on the people's nerves in my city. All I play is Liberian music. So
that's good.
Please keep doing. Those are just few comments on Facebook.
Thank you. We definitely appreciate it. You guys keep supporting it, and I tell a lot of people, if you're doing music and your heart is not into it, you're only doing it because you see other people doing it, you're gonna quit. Because after you do it 1 or 2 times and you don't spend your hard earned money and you see it ain't coming back, you gotta go do 9 to 5 and all that stuff. You say, you know what, I forget that music thing. I go and do my regular thing. Yeah. So if you don't believe in it, if you don't have passion for it, you can't do it.
That's true. And, we talk about goals and all that, but you are also a dad. I saw a picture of you and your cute son.
Right.
So as a father, what do you want your son to be able to look back on his dad's career and say, when we're talking about your musical career legacy?
Well, I hope when he grows up, no matter what he wants to do, I'm going to support him 100%. And of course, his education comes first. But anything other than that, I support him 100%. If he not start home in small tunes, so I'll be the good Joe Jackson, not yeah. So, but I'm going to support him 100% in anything he wants to do. If he grows up, he's going to want to see that his dad, even if I didn't make it to where I feel like, I should be or where I want to be, he's going to see that his dad never gave up, that his dad tried. And if it's something that he wants to take that torch and keep it going, I'll give him everything he wants to make sure he makes it.
Awesome. And so You know, you hinted at music that's going to be dropped on the 14th on Valentine's Day. So just tell our viewers what's coming up, what to expect.
So this is kind of just a reintroduction of me coming back because I believe last year I probably put out just one video, if I'm not mistaken. I did it in Paris, and that was it. One song. We never really we put out a song with El Freaky, but we really never did a lot of push because I was so busy trying to make sure my son is taken care of and get settled into the whole father, zone and everything. So that was mainly my goal. So the song we're putting out is called Pico Lolo, and a lot of people always ask, but what do Pico Lolo mean? Well, Picololo is just a term that I created because at times I come up with certain things, and if it works for me, it works. So the team loved the song, and Picololo is more of describing somebody that you're crazy about, somebody that you like. It can be the person's name, it can be your nickname, it can be you saying it's like you calling somebody like a nickname, hey boo, hey this and that, and that's just where that kind of came from.
Okay. And so that will be dropping on the 14th.
That comes out on the 14th. That's correct. And then maybe after that, there might be another song, and then the song with Snooty comes out.
So on what platforms will we be able to access the song?
You can get my music on Apple Music. You can see it on MTV, on pretty much every online platform that you can get, because we have a distributor that lives in France. So whenever I send him the song, which handles my publishing, so I believe that's part of the reason why at times when you're trying to play certain songs, you have the copyright problem.
Right.
Yeah, so they get the music and they distribute it to all those different online platforms. So any kind of online platform that's on your cell phone that you can type in Jodi Clarke. You just have to type in the name. It'll be the first name that comes up, and it'll be you can find my music on there.
And Jodi, that music is dropping on Valentine's Day. And if I want to dedicate that music to my Pico Lolo, how do I do it?
You just we'll send it to you. Just let us know, or you can even go online and download it. But I got you guys. You get the exclusive, so I'll make sure I send you guys a song, and you can dedicate it to anyone you want to dedicate it to. I try to like how you just said that. Dedicated to my
and really, I wouldn't be the only one. So for all the people that are listening to us, when that song dropped, I know somebody somewhere had a Pico Lolo. So we want
absolutely.
So just want to know how everybody else can catch on to it and be able to share on that day and be the theme song.
The song is gonna drop on my fan page, which is when you go to Facebook, just type in Jodi Clarke. It's not gonna have the junior. So the one that has Jodi Clarke Jr., that's the personal page that we're trying to kind of change that around, so that way when you look me up on Facebook, it brings up the Facebook with the check mark, which is the actual fan page. I believe it's got 31,000 followers. So if you follow us, that'll increase it. And it's going to be on there. It's going to be, if you go to YouTube and just type in Jodi Clarke, you're going to see my YouTube channel. We should have it on Vivo as well, but they all come in, on YouTube, so you can actually see it on all those platforms. And just click and share it with that person. If you want to purchase it and send it to somebody, you can always purchase it and send it as a gift, and you can do it that way. You can just do it on your phone, and Apple Music sends it to the other person's iTunes.
Okay, cool. All right. So just to let the audience know, what are some other ways that the community can support you other than maybe purchasing a song?
You can follow me to also increase the fan base, because if the fan base is, because most of the labels and a lot of people look at numbers. Numbers is very important. And most of the Liberian artists, when you look them up online, the numbers are not so high. So if you were to go on my Facebook, which is facebook.com/official Jodi Clarke, or just type in Jodi Clarke, the Facebook is up here right now. You go ahead and click and I try to follow that. If you go to YouTube, you type in You can go to youtube.com/official Jodi, or just type in Jodi Clarke in the search bar and you can see my YouTube. Subscribe to it. You can go to Instagram and follow me on Instagram and increase this platform, because when you increase the platform, then it makes it appealing to people who want to invest into the artist, because they feel like, okay, this artist got 100,000, 300,000 followers. That means we can market the music to those followers. So imagine if you have 50,000 people following you and you sell something for, let's say, $2 to those 50,000 people. You don't have to even worry about a million. Just you being an independent artist, that means you're bringing in money that is enough for you to be able to make better videos, do the marketing and everything. So I'm asking you guys, if you have any of those accounts, you can just go ahead and follow me and like the pictures, or however you want to do it.
Awesome. And so, as far as your career, do you have other aspirations outside of music? Are there any plans for acting or modeling, or any other?
Well, one of the things that I actually, other than going into business, real estate in Africa, especially mainly starting in Africa, since I grew up there and I know a lot about it. I also want to kind of also be behind the scene for the music as well, where I can bring other young artists on. So that means we sign artists to Dope Music Empire and be able to. Now, everything we've done in Africa, as far as getting on the MTV base, getting on Trace Africa and all these different things, we did it from here. I've been to Africa 2 times, but most of the things that we've done, we haven't really been on ground, and we were able to penetrate to those different networks. So imagine if we're on ground, that means we're able to do more than that. So that's one of the things I'm actually working on this year, to start being in Africa more, and also go back and forth. Because when your presence is there and you're in these networks, you're in their face and they see you and you're working, then they recognize, oh, this is a Liberian artist. He's in Africa a lot. He's doing shows here and all those different things. So those are different things we're working on. But I'm also wanting to just at one point fall back and bring on a lot of young, talented, artists. Can be from Liberia, Ivory Coast. It don't matter where, to be able to put that energy behind them that I've put behind myself.
Wonderful. And I hope all of that comes into fruition in 2020. I wish you, a lot of success for the year. Definitely, please do come back, when you have other projects or would like to promote other singles. So before we end this, any final thoughts or comments or anything else that you'd like to share with our audience?
So absolutely, I definitely appreciate the Focus on Liberia. I appreciate your network for having me on. It's actually a blessing. I appreciate the interview. For everyone watching and those that are going to watch, because I found people watch after you're done with the show, and more people, because it shares so much, most people started watching. So those that are going to watch, I appreciate you guys watching, and leave your comment, leave your honest opinion. Hey, providing your comments and your opinion, it's all part of growing. It's all part of the artist's growth. It's all part of the artist's developing process. So I'm never one of those artists that frown on people critiquing me. I'm never one of those artists. If you come to me and say, Jodi, your Liberian English not too, goodbye, change it a little bit. We'll work on it. But at the end of the day, I appreciate it. I welcome anybody to, come in and promote and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and God bless you on this beautiful Sunday.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jodi. And thank you to our audience for joining us. This was a special show today. We still have our regularly scheduled show at 6 o'clock. Today, it will be the final show on mental health within our community. And we'll have some Liberian psychologists and social workers on to talk about mental health in our communities. So thank you again, Jodi, and thank you to our audience. Please share the video. Like Jodi said, many times people will watch afterwards, so we'd appreciate that if you share it. And please follow Jodi on all of the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to his YouTube channel, and please do the same for us as well. All right.
Absolutely.
So we will see you all in a couple hours.
Thank you. Bye.
Mama, woke up this morning with no food on my table. I don't get out and get me some. This life we live is promise to no man. The way you get tomorrow, you're wrong. Every day all we doing is hustle, hustle. Every day all we doing is hustle, hustle.
So if you are out there and you are not hustling, you are doing something bad. Get up, man. It's time to hustle.
We hustle together. Nothing can hold us down.
Until then, my name is Dennis John. On behalf of the Focus on Liberia crew, say, have a good day. God bless.